Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een, amma ba'du. Tonight, inshallah ta'ala, we're going to do the bab of Walimatul Urs. The walima, the food after the nikah. The walima refers to the food after the marriage. In this chapter, a lot of this chapter has to do with not necessarily issues between the spouses, between the wife and the husband. A lot of it has to do with the couple and the community. A lot of it. طيب. So, قال رحمه الله تسن ولو بشاة فأقل. The first thing is the walima obligatory or is it sunnah?
Scholars differ from my understanding.
The scholars differ.
Some say it's obligatory.
Some say it's obligatory.
Some say it's not.
Some say it's not obligatory. Some say it's sunnah. طيب. If a person doesn't have a walima, is the contract complete or incomplete?
It's complete.
A person doesn't have a walima. They don't feed the people after the ceremony, the nikah, the contract. Is the marriage complete? Or do they still have to have a walima later on?
It's complete.
It's complete.
But they say that they should. Like, they differ. I don't know.
It's complete. As long as the rest of the conditions that were already covered, right? The witnesses, the wali, as long as those things are present, then the walima is not going to affect the authenticity of the marriage itself. So it's not like you've been married 10 years and you turn around and say, well, I never had a walima. Do we have to get married again? You with me? Thanks.
What is the primary reason for the walima other than food?
Other than food, it comes from a word which means originally to gather something. But it's become known as the food that comes after the marriage. That's what it's known for. But he's going to get to that. We get to that. Inshallah. From the benefit. What's the benefit of walima? So firstly he says, he's of the opinion that it is sunnah, walau bishat. Even if a person can only supply or feed the people with a lamb. Meaning, it's not about how much food you feed the people. It's not that whatever a person can do, this is what they should try to do. طيب. So they start off with the hukum sunnah. Secondly, he goes into the conditions that make it obligatory to answer the da'wah, to answer the invitation. When is it obligatory to respond to a person's invitation? You with me? Not what makes it obligatory to have a walima. Somebody invites you to a walima. They say, mashallah, I just got married, we get married. I want you to come to my walima, right? Like, what makes it obligatory to respond to that invitation is the next part.
Ain't that one of the 6 rights of Muslim? Invite you to come?
Yes, but that's a little too general. That's general. And we want to see why. So this right here, this portion here, and he mentioned 5 things that make it obligatory to respond to the invitation. Yani, what tajib. Responding to the invitation is obligatory. Meaning what? What does it mean if something is obligatory?
You have to do it.
It's a sin if you don't. It's a must.
It's a must. It's haram if you don't do it.
Don't do it now.
What else?
It's
Huh?
And if you
It's
do
a
it, you're
sin.
rewarded for it.
It's a sin You have to do it. It's haram if you don't respond, and
If you do it, you're rewarded.
huh? If you don't do it, if something is haram, if something is obligatory and you don't do it, that means all of the things you said, and Allah can punish you. Allah might not. You're tahta mashiyatillah. That a person under the will of Allah, Allah may punish her, Allah may forgive a person. Clear? Everybody with me? Hukm walima is sunnah. So having a walima doesn't fall under that same category. Having a walima is sunnah, but now somebody invites you to that walima. Do I have to respond? Do I gotta go? Tayyib. It says number one, tajib is obligatory with the following conditions. Obligatory with the following conditions. He says, fi awwali marra, the first time, or let's use day, the first day they invite you to the walima. Question now, does that make sense or no?
What's that?
The first day that the person or the brother invites you to his walima, you gotta go. Obligatory to go the first day.
You asking the question? No.
Yeah, I'm asking you now, does that make sense?
How many days is a while?
Jay Montez, how many days is a walima? How many days can a walima be? They can be
One day?
more than one day.
3.
It could be more than 3. Hatta 7. Some of the ulama say up to 7 days. So now the brother or the sister invite you to the walima. Huh? Let's just start with Saturday. Most people are. Saturday. Let's say they're having something after the Dhuhr. They say, I want you to come Saturday. I'm off Saturday. Mumtaz. I'm there. Then they say Sunday. I'm having something Sunday coming through. I'm there. Sunday, I'm off too. Monday, I gotta work. Monday, I gotta work. Right? And this is the 3rd day. You with me? Everybody with me? Up to 7 days. Some of the ulama allow up to 7 days. Tayyib. He says the first day is obligatory. Tayyib. You're gonna need these conditions to know, do you gotta respond? Do you have to go to an invitation? Every time somebody invites you to walima, do I have to go? The first day, number one. Most of us, we deal with 1 day walimas anyway. But it's possible sometimes people, never mind. If it goes over, if you go somewhere, Methan, and you go for Hajj or Umrah, somebody gets married, they not like us there. They don't have to know you in order to invite you. You with him, ahlan wa sahlan. They invite you to come eat with them, right? It might be a walima, Methan. The first day. Second thing, it says, ijabatu Muslim, that the person inviting you is a Muslim. The person inviting you is a Muslim. Tayyib? Huh? That's the second one. It's the first day, which we usually deal with. The person inviting you is a Muslim. Clear? The third one is a description of that Muslim. A description of that Muslim that invited you. Tayyib. The third one, yahrum hajruhu. That Muslim, is haram for you to boycott that Muslim. It's not permissible to boycott this Muslim. This is number 3. Number 3.
Description of it.
Number 1, the first day. I should use the first day as we're using. Right? Number 2, the person that invited you to the walima is a Muslim. Number 3, that Muslim is haram for you to boycott him. It's haram to boycott that Muslim.
So where did the description of the Muslim come in?
Number 3.
So it's all the same.
Number 2 is the person is a Muslim. Number 3, what kind of Muslim are they?
Gotcha.
Meaning, what kind of Muslim are they? You can't boycott this Muslim.
Whether good or bad?
You can't boycott them. Now the question is, who can you boycott from the Muslims? I'll give you the example they used, or they used the Rafidi. You know, the Rafidi, the Shiite, who are established innovators. Established innovators with the ulama. Established innovators, the Shiite. The Shiite is permissible to boycott them. Right? So if that's the case, if they were to invite you, you don't have to. It's not obligatory to respond because it's permissible to boycott them. But we're not talking about a Shiite. We're talking about a regular brother you pray with. You might not know him that well, but y'all been praying together for, y'all been praying together since Ramadan. Familiar face, right? You don't know too much about him. See him in traffic here and there. Is it permissible to boycott him? No, it's not permissible to boycott. A boycott has to come, it has to be something that allows that. The asl is not boycotting Muslims. That's not the origin that we boycott Muslims, just so, number 3, that yahram hajruhu, that the person, it's not a person that you're able to boycott. Clear, everybody clear on that? Tayyib. Number 4, you with me? Number 4, in ayyanahu. The person who invites you, he specifies you specifically. He's specifically talking to you, specifically wants you to come. Whether it's a phone call, text message, he specifies you. Sends you a message, yo, I want you to come, right? He specifies you. Number 4, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ ثَمَّ مُنْكَرٌ. That there's not going to be any munkar, no evil going on at the walima. Number 5. It's number 5. There's no evil going to be going on at the walima. So the question is, how would you know that? Huh? Would you know? Would you know unless he told you?
I would ask.
What you gonna ask him?
Who the DJ?
Is there gonna be any fitness?
I guess come I ask you, who the DJ?
I guess similar to number 3, they known to be.
There you go. If you know the person, and you know specifically their level of Islam, you know what they, that kind of thing. If you don't know a person, it doesn't necessitate you gotta say it's gonna be any fitna. What's fitna to you is not fitna to him or her. To me, that's fitna. To you, to the person inviting you, it might not be fitna. You with me?
Non-Muslim, do they have non-Muslims there? I mean,
We ain't get there yet. We ain't get there yet.
parents.
We ain't get there yet.
This is one of the questions that I had surrounding this right here. I didn't make it, but alhamdulillah. Sometimes if somebody invites you to a walima, and I'm gonna be as honest as I can in this forum. Sometimes some people will do some things and they'll mix and match. Like I've seen where, they have a walima and everybody come out, they got on thobes and kimar and overgarment or whatever.
Mm.
And then they change.
We ain't get there yet.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Those are the 5. You got the 5?
What are the 5?
The 5, if you have to respond. Somebody invites you somebody invites you to a walima. Do you have to go to every time somebody invites you to a walima? If these 5 things are present, yes. Obligatory. If these 5 things are not present, then it's not obligatory. Doesn't mean you can't go. Doesn't mean you can't go. Doesn't mean it's not obligatory to respond to the invitation. Huh? I'm gonna read all of them again. Number 1, fi awwal marra. It's the first day that they have it. Some people, they have more than 1 day, but generally we dealing with 1 day, right? The second thing, the person that invited you, they're Muslim. The third thing, you can't boycott that brother or sister. They're not, this is not even a word, but they're not boycottable. Just so we're clear. They're not people who can be boycotted. Number 4, he or she invited you directly. Specifically you, I want you to come. And number 5, that is not going to be any evil going on. Generally, you might not know if there's evil going on. So you assume, if you assume, a brother that I know, I assume we're Muslim, you have this such and such place, I assume it's going to be Islamic. Unless you come out, he comes out and tell you, well listen, I know you don't really get, but listen, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to have this going on. Right? And then you know, there's some evil gonna be there. But if that's not the case in general, the obligation is to respond to the invitation. Clear?
No.
طيب. Now you mentioned some cases, rahimahullah, where it's not obligatory. If something is not obligatory, then what is it?
It's recommended.
It's recommended. Clear? Best?
No.
No. He says no. Like, if it's not obligatory, then it's recommended.
No.
Then what is it?
It could be permissible.
It's not.
If it's not obligatory, then it could be
Permissible.
mubah. Could be permissible. Could be
Haram.
haram. Could be recommended. Could be sunnah. Right? Because it's not obligatory doesn't mean it's haram. Clear? You with me? Because something's not obligatory don't mean it's necessarily haram. It's not obligatory. Could be disliked. طيب? In these cases, he says, فَإِن دَعَى الْجَفَلَ. If he gives you or she gives you, sister, he does a general invite. A person walks in here right now, they go, they make wudu, they pray, Isha, they say, Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullah, I want to invite everybody. I want to invite everybody to my Walimah on Saturday at such and such place. Ahlan wa sahlan. He gives a general invite. طيب? If it's a general invite, then it's what? La tajib. Not obligatory to respond. Why not? Based on what we already covered.
No, he didn't make it specific.
Because he didn't He didn't specify that he wanted you to be there. It was general. So if it's not, that doesn't mean you can't go. طيب? That doesn't mean you can't go. We're talking about, is it obligatory or not? طيب. Secondly, أو دعاه أو في يوم الثالث أو في اليوم الثالث. If a person invited you to come to the walima, and it's the third day that they having it. It's the third day. Everybody with me? They had a walima more than one day. Mathalan, they went, maybe they rented out, it's wintertime, maybe they went and rented out a hall in the Poconos. Right? Or whatever, they went somewhere and they rented out something for the weekend. طيب? Or something close you could drive back and forth. You know? So they want you to come down, they want you to come back down the third day. No, you don't have to go the third day. The third day is not obligatory to go. Because he said in the first part, when is it obligatory? Only the first day is obligatory. And the second day?
It's not obligatory.
How come second? What's the... طيب, we get to that. طيب. Firstly, it's a general invite. It's not obligatory to answer. Secondly, they invited you the third day. It's not obligatory to answer. It says, "O da'ahu dhimmiyun," or it's not obligatory to answer. Not obligatory. If a Christian or a Jew invites you to their walima, which they call reception. They invite you to the wedding reception. A dhimmi, Christian or Jew. Is it obligatory to respond? Why not? They're not Muslim. The obligation is if the Muslim invites you. طيب. A Christian or a Jew invites you to the walima. He says, for those three things, the three we just mentioned, the general invite, the third day, or if a Christian or a Jew invites you, he says, kurihat al-ijaba. Kurihat. Kurihat al-ijaba. It's disliked. It's disliked to respond to those three. Clear? Now the question is, so you're saying it's permissible to go to the reception of a Jew or a Christian, right? Yes. It said dislike. Dislike is not haram. It's a difference between makruh and haram. Right? Kurihat. طيب. Clear? طيب. Moving on. He says, وَمَنْ صَوْمُهُ وَاجِبٌ دَعَى وانصرف. طيب, you go to the walima, all the conditions are met, you go to the walima, and you got days to make up for Ramadan. So Methalan, you say, you know what, this week I'm gonna knock these 7 days out because I was traveling, right? So I'm gonna finish these days from my Ramadan now this week. So you start doing your days for Ramadan. You see the brother or the sister at Salat al-Dhuhr. You fasting your obligatory fast for Ramadan, right? He ayyanak, he says, yo, alhamdulillah, I was looking for you, right? I'm having a walima tonight or today after Asr. Here's the address. And you fasting your day of Ramadan. Everybody with me? It's clear? What do you do?
Go.
Go, just don't eat till after Maghrib.
Yeah,
You
never
go
said
and
you had to
break-
eat.
You go, you
You
break
just
your
go.
fast.
You break your fast.
You go and you break your fast. Obligatory fast? You break obligatory fast?
He's making up a day, right?
Yeah, it's obligatory fast for Ramadan.
Yeah, but he's making up a day, right?
He's making up a day, yes.
Yeah, he can break his fast and eat.
He's
No,
making
that's
up
an
obligatory
obligatory
fast, but it's
fast.
not Ramadan.
It's not Ramadan, but it's a
But it's
fast,
obligatory.
Allah in the Ramadan. It's obligatory fast that he's making up.
That he has to make up one of the days.
Yes.
That he missed.
Yes.
Nah, he
Wait a
can
minute,
make-
wait a minute, I got it. But it's, he has until that time expires.
Right, he can make
He
that.
he has until the next one comes in,
Sahih.
or those last 7 days.
But it's
He has
also
until
recommended.
the next Ramadan.
Absolutely.
Does he have to be there by also?
He meets all of the requirements. The walima's at the Asr. You gonna go? The walima's at the Asr. Where you gonna go?
You gonna know.
He met all of the conditions. You go. It says da'a wan saraf, wajib, obligatory that they go because they fit the description. It's the first time a Muslim. He can't make hajr of him. He specified him. There's no munkar there. There's nothing evil going on. It's obligatory that he goes. But when he goes, what does he do? Da'a wan saraf. Make dua. They say make dua for the couple and leave.
So he don't break his fast.
They don't break his fast. Not obligatory fast. Pay attention. This is good for.
You can't wait for Maghrib.
You can wait for Maghrib, but it might be, depends. A person might have I can't really sit around. Everybody, I don't like, I can't sit around food like that.
Oh, so you go to the Walimah.
You go to the walima, obligatory, wujubin. It's obligatory that you go, because he meets all the requirements. That Muslim meets all the requirements. Eating is a different story. So they say da'a wan saraf. Tayyib. And this is important for these issues stuff because they're not doing what we expect the people to come to the walima to do. Tayyib. He says, da'a wan saraf. I mean, they don't have to eat. They don't eat. They don't break that obligatory fast. Tayyib. If the fast is a sunnah, say if it's a recommended fast, not obligatory fast for Ramadan. Let's just say, for example, they fast one of the white days. So one of the white days, for example, falls on that Saturday when they have no walima. Right? Al-Mutanaffil, wal-Mutanaffil. If they're fasting the sunnah fast, what do? They go, they respond. It says, وَيُفْطِرُ in Jabal. Do they have to break it? They don't have to break it. Should they just go and break it? Just go there and just break it like that? It says, وَيُفْطِرُ in Jabal. If the host really wants you to eat, brother invites you, the sister invites you, you get there, you say, man, subhanAllah, I ain't want to miss it. I'm coming, but I'm fasting because it's the white days. They like, oh, huh? I made this specifically because I knew you was coming. Right? I want you to taste this. This is the one we was talking about, all that. Right? They do all of that, and then you come there and tell them you fasting the white days. Tayyib. They say if that's the case and the host is like, I really want you to eat with us. They say in that case, you should break it. It's going to bring a lot of things. Happiness to the host on top of the happiness that they're already going through. It says, وَلَا يَجِبَ الْأَكْلِ. لَا يَجِبْ الْأَكْلِ. For anybody who goes to the walima, for anyone who attends the walima, fasting or not fasting, it's not obligatory that they eat. They don't have to eat. Clear? They don't have to eat. Everybody with me? وَلَا يَجِبْ الْأَكْلِ. Eating is not an obligation for the one who goes to the walima. What's obligatory is what? Going. The hudur. Your presence is obligatory if it meets the requirements that were mentioned. Then going is obligatory, but you're not forced to eat. Clear? Tayyib. This goes back to the issue of that he asked about the why, the benefit of the walima. What's the benefit of going if you're not going to eat?
Bring happiness to everybody's spirit.
Make dua for a couple.
Give them support.
Jade. Now, strengthen the brother for all of that. Which goes back to the issue with the dhimmi, the Jew or the Christian that invites you. Goes back to that. The earlier matter is kalam on his. But they don't say it's haram to go. I say it's haram to go to the reception of a Jew or a Christian. According to what? The conditions. The conditions got to be met, all right? If there's conditions for a Muslim, then of course it applies to a Jew or Christian. Is it possible to go to a reception of a Jew or a Christian and the requirements are met outside of them being Muslim? A non-Muslim that you grew up with, they come to you, once you come. Requirements are met. They don't say it's haram, they say the response is disliked, disliked. Some of them say, no, mutlaqan that you can go. You Jews, you can go. Tayyib. The benefit of the walima, as they say, is it's an honor. That you honor the guest by coming. And that honor is for who? The Quran is for the believers. So therefore, some of them argue that it's disliked to go to the reception of the Jew or the Christian. They didn't say it's haram. And on top of that, they say if you go into that reception is going to draw them closer to Islam, then you should what? Go. The maslahah. Looking at the masalih and the mafasid, looking at the pros and the cons. Not necessarily that you go and they got to become Muslim because you showed up. That's not what they say. If I go, that's not, they don't go. If you going in that case, there's not going to be any evil going on, right? Like what? What's some evil that might go on at the reception? Band, they doing drinking, they're not doing all of that, right? And you going is going to bring them closer to Islam. They say in that case, then you should go. Other than that, they still stay disliked. Tayyib. Now he goes into ahkam al-hudur. When you're at the walima, once we're at the walima, it says وإباحة تتوقف على صريح الإذن صريح إذن أو قرينة. He says, you get there, it smells great, right? They've been cooking all day, so the house smells like food. The food, mashallah, it's on a, they got it set up. Everything is set up nice. What do? Is it permissible to go and eat from the food? Huh? You have to be invited. You have to be given permission to eat from the food. Right? Eating from the food of the walima is based on permission of the host saying, eat. Clear? Tayyib. You get there, and the person getting married is your brother. I'm talking about your blood brother. Huh? That's your brother. Or one of your relatives. One of your relatives get married, you go to the house, they have a walima. Can you just eat from the dish? Hatta, even if it's your family member or close person to you, eating from the food is based on their permission, the permission of the host. That the host gives you clear permission to eat. however they say it, and they have to make a specific, there's no one statement, everyone is allowed to eat starting now, right? Not like, it's not like that, but what do people say generally? How do we know if we go to somebody's house it's okay to eat the food?
It's usually,
Yeah, actually, if you don't eat, you want
it's
something to
usually
eat.
like that anyway.
No, but what do we say so that we all clear? You go to somebody's house,
Food is ready.
Go help yourself.
the food is ready, help yourself,
Get a plate.
get a plate, right? Whatever. It's clear to us that, okay, he gave us permission or she gave us permission to eat. Then you go eat. Other than that, even if that's your man, y'all sisters, y'all come up together, y'all not related, y'all come up together, you over her house all the time. You over his house, y'all back and forth every day. It's not, in this case, eating from the food is based on permission of the host. It's based on the permission of the host. طيب. Or they say, they clearly say, go ahead, y'all can eat, or they give an indication that it's okay to go ahead and eat. What would be an indication?
Coming out with plates.
Come out with a plate, maybe just hand plates out. They might
Food in there.
it's in there. So where the food in the kitchen, right? An indication that's known, and the indications for us here in Philly might not be the indications for people in Baltimore or people in New York. That's based on, we might share some stuff, but some stuff may be specific for the people in our area. طيب. Now it goes into وإن علم أن ثم منكرا يقدر على تغييره حضر وغير. طيب. If you know, for example, they meet all the requirements, right? And in the requirements to answer, he said, what? That there's not going to be any evil, no munkar going on. طيب. He says here, وإن علم أن ثم منكرا يقدر على تغييره حضر وغير. If you do know that there's going to be some evil going on, you know it's going to be some evil there. They're going to be doing something out of pocket, right? It says, and in this first case, this is the first case. You know it's some evil there. Number one, you're able to change it. In this kid's situation, you're able to change that evil that's going to be going on. They respect you enough, those people there respect you enough, that if you go there and you tell them, that's not from Islam, we shouldn't be doing that, they're going to respect you enough, right? They're going to have the power to say, okay, we're cutting that, stop that, whatever we were doing, stop that. If that's the case, then what? Go or don't go? Go. Hadara, go, waghayr, and change it, whatever it is. For the person who has that ability, you know it's going to be evil there, for sure. I know them, they're out of pocket, but I also know they respect my, that's my man, he respects me enough, or she respects her enough. If she comes and tells me that we're not supposed to be doing it, or you might know that they don't know anyway. They don't even know they're not supposed to be doing it. And generally, when you give that person advice, they accept it, right? They don't know what they're supposed to be doing. They don't know. They don't have knowledge of what they can do and what they can't do. And generally, if you go there and give them advice, they're going to accept it. Go and change it. It's the first case. Clear? طيب. If you know it's going to be evil there and you're not able to change it, you know it's going to be evil there and you're not able to change it, then what? Don't go. وَإِلَّا أَبَى. If you're not able to change it, then don't go. That's the second case. The second case is you know it's going to be evil there and you're not able to change it, don't go. Abba, decline. That don't mean you got to be rude and disrespectful. That does not mean that you have to be rude and disrespectful when you decline and call them shout out and y'all some it doesn't necessitate that. So, Tayyip, I would like to respectfully excuse myself from attending. Inshallah, hey. Inshallah, please excuse me, man. I'm not gonna be able to make that. We talk about it later. I'll explain it to you. They don't necessitate you got to scream and call my name. Why I told you 10 times that you're supposed to be doing that. You gotta know the people you're talking to, their level of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Tayyib. So the first two are, one, he knows it's gonna, he or she, they know it's gonna be evil there, and they're able to change it, so they go and they change it. The second one, then they know it's gonna be evil, they're not able to change it, so they decline, they don't go. Thirdly, that's before they got there. طيب, وإن حضر ثم علم به أزاله. طيب, you get there, you don't expect the brother or the sister to be doing anything that goes against the religion. You get there and they're doing some evil. You're like, yo, you got me in here. Now, I'm here now. I done drove all the way over here, and you in here. What? You there now. What does the person do?
You have the power to change it, you change, try to change it.
Jayyid. Azalahu. Change it. They have the power to change it. Change it. That doesn't mean, this doesn't give us the ability to go in people's houses and break stuff. Doesn't give us the ability to go in people's houses and start turning stuff on and like, you know. It's not that. It's not that. Meaning you go there, they respect your statement. They respect you as a person enough. They respect you as a Muslim enough that if you advise them, they're going to listen to you. That's the extent of changing it. Unless you have some authority in that place specifically. That's the third one. You go there, then you get there and you find out that there's some evil going on. Right? They playing the 90s, the hip hop mix. They got the 90s CD hip hop mix, right? From the 90s. Some evil, it's evil. They might not think it's evil though. There's a narration of Ibn Umar, radiallahu anhu. He went to a Walimah. When he got there, they were playing instruments. He did what? He stuck his fingers in his ears, walked off. If we do that now, we extreme. You're out of pocket. Ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Umar, the son of Umar ibn Khattab. He stuck his fingers in his ear and he said, I saw the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam doing this. Right? Imam Ahmed rahimahullah, he went to a walima and they were using silver dishes. Right? Like real silver. Khalis. He left the walima. They said, no, Imam, we're gonna change, we'll change him. Nah, he refused to go back. If we do that now, you're overboard, you're extreme, that's too much. Everybody not practicing the religion like you practicing a whole bunch of, right? But it's a way to do it, it's a way to do it. So you get there, if you can change it, you change it. It says, فَإِنْ دَامَ لِعَجْزِهِ عَنْهُ انصَرَفْ. If he gets there or she gets there, and they're not able to change it, they continue to do it, then they do what? Leave. Then he's not able to change it, she's not able to change it, then they leave. And this is good for the host. The host should respect that. Because sometimes you'll find the host knows that they're not supposed to be doing that. The host will know sometimes that they shouldn't be doing that, whatever it is. Right? And they'll do it anyway. Then when you decide to leave, they're angry with you. They're upset with you. Don't get mad at me. You wrong, you dead wrong, you know you're wrong. The host should respect the fact that the person doesn't want to be around some haram and they choose to leave. So it's a two-way street. The person respectfully leaves, gives them the nasiha, and leaves if they can't change it, and the host should respect it. طيب وإن علم به ولم يره ولم يسمعه خير. He says, and if he knows or she knows, they're there, something's going on, they can't see it, they don't hear anything. You get there, maybe somebody else comes and tell you, yo, they over there doing such and such. You don't see it, you don't hear it, right? He says, khuyr. The person has the option of staying or leaving. Of staying or leaving. Clear? Clear? And the early men argue on that point. They argue on that point. A person knows there's some evil going on. They know there's some evil going on. Even though they don't know it, they don't see it. He says here, khuyya. A person can choose to stay or leave. Some say no, they need to leave. They know it's there, even if they don't see it or if they don't hear it. But now he moves into another issue. And this book, brothers and sisters, was written hundreds of years ago. Hundreds of years ago. I just want to make sure we know that the world is big, but it's small. It's a small world. طيب, he says, وَيُكْرَهُ النِّثَارُ وَالْتِقَاطُهُ. Something that is disliked. Something that is disliked. Doesn't mean, dislike means what? Makruh. Not haram. Says, وَيُكْرَهُ. It's disliked النِّثَارُ وَالْتِقَاطُهُ. An-nithar is when the hosts of the walima, they come out to the people and they do what? I don't know if I should say that.
Say it.
They just throw money around.
Make it rain.
Yeah, they do that. They come out to the guests, you know. They throw money around.
This in real life.
Yeah. It's an-nithar, yukra, an-nithar, waltiqatu. It's disliked to do that. Come out and throw money around on people. Even though the person who's throwing the money, what's their intention? Huh? Their intention is to give, the money is for the people. Take it. Take the money. You with me? Take the money. The money is for the people to keep. So they come out and they do what? They do is called an-nithar. An-nithar. It says dislike because of, let's just say, he or she, they're throwing hundreds. What's gonna happen?
Frenzy.
Frenzy. Right? People fighting over it. And on top of that, it's not something that's praiseworthy. It's something that's like degrading to people.
Now you said this book is hundreds of years
Yeah.
old. They've been doing that.
Yeah. Just to let you know, you dig what I'm saying? That's why I said that.
Yeah.
This is something old. It's not something new. They changed the name, but or they call it what they call it, but it's the same, right? It's the same act. It's degrading to people. You come out throwing money on people, like, right?
I'll put that in my notes.
So it says yukra, and it's also disliked to take the money. It's disliked. Haram to take it? Not haram. Not haram. If you come out or she comes out and they throwing money, it just so happens to land in your lap.
But you know what,
It just so happens to land in your lap.
even if somebody owe you money, and y'all going back and forth, and he like, well, give me my money. You owe me money, give me my money.
Right.
And they point out, be like, hey, take the money.
And they throw it. You
on
don't
the
ain't
floor,
like that.
You ain't gonna pick it up.
And then you have more right to it. It's yours. So it says dislike to throw the money like that and for the people to take it. طيب. وَمَنْ أَخَذَهُ أَوْ وَقَعَ فِي حَجْرِهِ فَلَهُ. But whoever does take it, they sitting there, they take it, then they can keep it. But they sitting there, they're not even trying to take it. But it's really raining in there, they putting a lot of money out there. There's a lot of money floating around, so it just falls in his lap or her lap, and they take it, then they can keep it. But is it something that's praiseworthy? It's not something that's praiseworthy to degrade people like that. Or to put yourself in a position where you're jumping on the floor scrambling. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that's a praiseworthy thing for the Muslim. If a person does it, but even though the intention of the person who put the money, their intention is to give money away to the guests. That's their intention. But the way they're doing it is what makes it disliked. طيب. طيب. And this is the last portion of this chapter. He says, وَيُسَنُّ إِعْلَانُ النِّكَاحِ. Number 1. Announcing, and this is a problem sometimes, announcing that you're getting married, it says, yusann. Sunnah. Sunnah. recommended to announce to people that you're getting married. And sometimes sisters have a problem with this. Say, married, ain't telling nobody. Right? They do. They say, he married, ain't telling nobody. He ain't say nothing. He didn't say anything. It's not obligatory to announce that a person's getting married. Is it better in a situation like this? Would it have been a better thing to do it? Yes. Does it mean the marriage that wasn't announced to the people that you pray with every day? Brothers and sisters, you pray together every day, all year long, you go get married, don't tell nobody? What kind of relationship between the Muslims is that going to breed? How you get married and going to tell the people you're praying with every day? Right? But is it obligatory to tell them? That's a different story. Meaning, if they didn't tell the people they're getting a sin, no, it's not that. It's not to that level.
They can keep it in the tuck as soon as we
Keep it in the tuck.
they married.
Secret.
It's like you about to make it rain.
Like you said, what I'm saying is, they don't have to be necessarily people they pray with all the time.
You immediate people know.
They're not telling.
Let's
They're
say
not
this.
just. They're just not telling nobody.
Sunnah, and which we want to do is the sunnah. We always want to do the sunnah, is to announce that you're getting married. Let's look at it like that. Now, say if a person didn't announce that they were getting married, does that affect the validity of the marriage? No. You with me?
I'm just talking about there's a couple.
Mm-hmm.
They have an op, and in that op, they say, this is going to take place, this is going to take place. We're not going to consummate until this is reached, but let's not tell nobody.
Don't tell nobody married. That's going against the sunnah. They went against the sunnah. The sunnah is to announce that you get married. That don't mean if you did it like that, and again, you got to go back and look at where you at, what people, you know what I'm saying? Sister, I'm sure she got close friends. The brother got close friends. Marriage is something that's praiseworthy in Islam. It's a happy time. I want to be there. I want to sit there and see your face when you want to be there. Right? So sunnah is to announce the marriage. Meaning if you didn't announce it, if it wasn't announced, it's not going to invalidate the marriage. But it could cause a problem otherwise between friends and brothers and sisters that pray together.
No, I was just thinking, like, under what kind of circumstances you think that they might want to. Like I said, it was a contract, right, between the two. And it was like, okay, we're not even going to consummate until we reach this certain amount.
Until what?
Like, you memorize a certain amount of books.
Okay.
Right? So they're married, but between them two, they can agree with or the husband say, listen, don't let nobody else use it.
I'm with you. What would be the benefit in that?
They were
Even if they had their own contract, what's in the contract is not everybody's business. The contract is between him and her. That's what's in the contract. You got to do this. Blah, blah, blah. That's all their business. Like that's not part of the land of the nikah. Is I'm getting married on Saturday. This Saturday I'm getting married, inshallah. Where at? That's undetermined yet. I don't really know how it's going to go down yet, but I plan on getting married. So at least people that you pray with. Now, if it happens out, it works out. You know what? Did you get married? Yeah. Why ain't you? Oh, you know, we decided to have something real small. It was just family. That's different. At least the people know. Her friends know that she was looking to get married. His friends know. But not tell people that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. That don't mean it's going to affect the marriage. You with me? But it's going to cause some problems somewhere else.
You know, it's so, this is real. What we talking about right now. And I'll give you a good example. A brother marries a sister. They have issues in their marriage. They separate. It becomes a public spectacle that everybody knows about it. All their business is through the masjid. Everybody knows how the sister done the brother and how the brother done the sister. Everybody knows it. But these two people still want to be with each other. So what they decide to do,
The couple that got divorced.
yes.
Okay.
What they decide to do, they say, listen, not to put everybody in our business because we done already made ourselves a spectacle. We gonna go ahead and get married and just keep everybody out of our business this time because it caused a problem before. And they get married and they just keep it to themselves. And the only people that's privy to this information is those people that's closest to them.
Go ahead.
Real situation, Shay.
In that case,
Well, my question is how did information get out? become public?
Because they probably put it public.
They
They put it public.
They probably put it on the internet and said
To
something.
save the embarrassment, because you talk so bad about each other.
That's
they
the
gonna
time,
do it.
but now
Makes
that-
sense.
Time they don't want to.
Makes
regular
sense.
They don't want to
You with me?
Yeah, I'm
I
with
get
you.
you
real
now.
But that's the harm of responding emotionally. The fact that y'all get divorced, that ain't really like, that's not the time to air everybody out. You gotta air her out now that y'all got divorced. Now you wanna air him out. You wanna let everybody know what he was doing and what he wasn't doing. But you was cool with it for 10 years. So now you wanna let everybody out miserable for the past 10 years. Like, then you wanna turn around and when it all calmed down, you didn't really mean it. So now save your embarrassment. Now you wanna go against the sunnah. You're gonna, or I say go against the sunnah. You're gonna leave off a sunnah of making the announcement of the marriage, which is a good thing. And on top of that, rectification between the two is also a good thing. It's all good. Either way, it's all good. The only thing preventing a person from practicing the sunnah at that point is pride. It's pride. Pride in a person's heart that I don't want everybody to see. We acted crazy. Yeah, we acted crazy. But we've been Adam. We act crazy sometimes. Allah protect us. I mean, now you don't want to practice the sunnah because you're embarrassed. So now it's a personal thing. It ain't really about deen. طيب, إعلان النكاح. So the sunnah is to announce the nikah, and again, meaning not obligatory, but that doesn't mean that a person should intentionally hide it, unless it's some serious situation where it's going to cause a serious problem. Lastly, وَالدُّفُّ فِيهِ لِلنِّسَاءِ. A duff, playing the duff, beating the duff. Does everybody know what the duff is? No? Like a drum. So, oh, a tambourine?
No. It's the thing that you put in their hand, it's got two
Duff.
things on the side. It's like a little drum, they go like this and they go.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real easy. A drum, like, which doesn't. A drum. It's a real drum that's beat that you beat on. It's not just to be for real, honestly. It don't count to put on at a wedding instrumentals. And say these are drums played. Like, it's more than instrumentals. And number two, as he says, a duf, that drum for who? Lin-nisa, for the women. For the women. Right? For the women, not for the men. Even there is an issue. Or the differ. Is it only for the women or no? Some say no, it's mutlaqan for the men also, the duf. Not music. There's a difference between music and then the shot, as he says in the explanation. Anything outside of the duf. Anything outside of the duf. Well, number one, firstly, not just for marriage, that the women can play the duf. Not just for marriage. But I'll read it right here. Kana wa kada al-khitan. Al-khitan. When the child is circumcised, to play the duf. Celebration. It says, وَقُدُوم غَائِب. Somebody that was they was away for a while and they came back. They don't specify where they were. They were out of town, they was away, they came back. وَالْوِلَادَةِ. When a baby is born, playing the duf. Because some sisters, they don't know. Sisters don't know. You go to somebody's house, they playing the duf, they leave there, and then they shout out over there, they was listening to music. Because they had a sister there playing a duf. And it can be, I don't know if you ever heard it played, but it's rather, not dull. If you know what you're doing, it's pretty, it can be intense, I'll say that. It can be quite intense, So they go there, but there's a text allowing that. It's a text that allows that, right? We don't have text that allows us to play guitars. We don't have text that allows us to play flutes and the banjo and bring in bands, and we don't have text for that. We don't. We have a text from the Prophet ﷺ for the duf. Therefore, it's permissible. Outside of that, after the journey, birth, when the child is born. When the child is born. طيب, he says, وَتَحْرَمْ كُلُّ مَلْهَاتْ سِوَى الدُّفْ. Everything else, I use this word, any instrument outside of the duf is haram. Any instrument outside of the duf is haram. There's no text for anything outside of the door. And they mention different, which is mentioned here, like guitars, different instruments that you blow into, flutes and stuff like that. Those things are haram. Tayyib, and he stops there for the chapter of the Walimah to the Urs. Any questions?
The doof. So you've seen one, so it's just like a regular.
It's also different types.
Okay.
It's more than one type. He didn't really go into detail on that type. And usually, honestly, I can't even remember what it looks like because usually it's on the women's side.
Okay, so you would.
So you might go to a walima and it's at a big place. It's big, so the area for the men is big. Is the women have their area, but you can hear, so you can hear it playing.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear it playing.
That's not
You touched on something real pivotal that I wanted to ask about. You touched on it, but it really don't got nothing to do with the topic, but you addressed it inside the topic. When two things are obligatory at the same time, how do we choose which one to do? And you know which one I'm talking about, the invitation and the fasting for Ramadan. Both obligatory, based on what we was talking about. So if we didn't go to this class, how would we know when these situations arise if two things obligatory come, but they are opposing each other? You understand what I'm saying?
They're not necessarily opposing each other, but
He said it's not obligatory to eat.
I did say that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not obligatory to eat, number one.
Unless they
Gotcha.
Nah.
That's if it's a
That's
drought.
if it's-
That's
That's if it's sunnah.
if it's-
If they want you to eat and it's obligatory fast, you're still not eating.
Yeah, gotcha.
The fast,
you still go.
yeah, you still go. The fast in general, the fast is what they call, or responding to the walima, is never mind, forget that. I don't want to listen. But eating is not obligatory. Hudur, going is obligatory.
Gotcha.
Going is
So it's no
obligatory.
conflict.
Right. Going is obligatory. And the person, this for the host too. I'm making up my obligatory fast. Ain't no problem telling them. It ain't like you gotta hide it. It's probably better that you let them know so that they understand. That's what they actually mentioned in the shop. It's better that you let them know so they understand why you're not eating. So it's no hard feelings. You tell me I made all this food, you come here, you ain't gonna eat? No, I'm not eating. I got fast days I had to make up. If I would have known earlier, because nothing in the example that I gave, they told you at Vuhr, I was already fasting my obligatory. You can't just break your obligatory fast, right? So you tell them, if I would have known earlier, if I would have known beforehand, I would have fasted yesterday and then not fasted today and then finished. You know what I'm saying? Just to make the host feel comfortable. It's a happy time. They don't want to feel nothing between y'all. And at the same time, the host needs to understand that the person is fulfilling the obligation.
Now, you said it can be up to 7 days. Where do we get it from that we only do 1 day?
Custom of the people. Like, it's nothing.
Like you have to do 7.
No, it's not saying you have to do 7. It's not saying you have to do 7. And a lot of, even that issue, the length of the time, there's nothing, no text specifying the, like how many days a walima has to be.
Right.
Here, we do 1 day, which is not an issue. It's not an issue.
But you can do 1
day.
day.
The point is, you might go somewhere else and they might do more than 1.
Right.
Or, like I said, somebody might rent something out. It might be a travel type of thing. My family, we all going to wherever. We're going to get married there. We're going to get married there. We're going to have the walima out there. Right? Maybe it's a drivable place. I can get down there for a day, but I can't stay the whole weekend.
Right.
But the first day is obligatory if you can. The second day, sunnah recommended to go the second day. The third day, they even say it's disliked due to a hadith. There's a hadith that says the third day is from riyah. The third day is from riyah, showing off for a person to have the third day. But early men argue that hadith is not authentic. Some of them say it's not authentic, so they don't go with it. Allah.
If the third day is showing off, what's the seventh?
That's why some of them argue. The argument is their hadith authentic or not? So if it's not authentic, then you got longer than that. They call it Ayyam al-Urs, Ayyam al-Urs, the days of the honeymoon? Days of the honeymoon. Like those days that the people are still celebrating the married couple like that. It might be one day, it could be 2 days, it could be, everybody's different. They don't necessitate that it's 7, but it's a statement. You might, I'm mentioning that because you might go somewhere and people might do that. You need to know that, not necessarily that you would do it, not that's what we do, but it is kalam. There's statements in the books that are mad that speak about that. So that we don't look at people funny when we find them doing something that we never heard before.
And these are families, probably more likely. You know what I'm saying? Like families coming together.
Right.
They probably live in the same community.
What, for
I'm saying
more
like
than one day, you mean?
Yeah, I'm saying like, you know, here people just come to the masjid. They're not really families that live in the same community. You know what I'm saying? Like
a village.
Yeah, like a village, or you know what I mean? So it's like maybe the people in the interaction is different.
Not necessarily. I know you long enough that if I'm getting married, I'm gonna tell you, we don't gotta live nowhere near each other. I know you long enough to say.
About like with the 7 day, like would that be like a cultural thing more so?
Not necessarily. Nothing that I'm having, it's big, it's a big one. I'm getting married. It's a big, marriage is big. Al-Mustaqni.
Yeah,
We so in and out, you know, it's just like, oh, you're married, oh, that's what's up. No, marriage is big. Islamically, marriage is big. That's why the nikah, the Aqd nikah is supposed to be held on a Friday after Jummah. All of them people. And that the man should stand up in front of everybody, ta'zeeman, that this is heavy, this is about to be serious. All right? It's big. It's not like this real quick, yo, you think you do this for me real quick?
Yeah.
That's what brothers say a lot of times. Brothers say, yo, you do this nikah for me real quick? I tell them, I feel we don't do anything here real quick. And no disrespect to you or her, but nothing we do down here is real quick, especially with no nikah, especially with the Aqd nikah. And Sheikh Abdul Majid used to always tell us that Aqd nikah, that marriage contract, is what makes a man and a woman permissible for each other. If it's no Aqd nikah, and it's not your mother, your mother, or sister, your father, your family members, the man and the woman, the asl is that the men and the women are haram to enjoy, have pleasure with each other. That's the asl. Only thing that makes it permissible is the Aqd nikah, that contract with those witnesses, and that mahr, that dowry, and the wali telling you, I marry you to her and you accept. That's what makes it permissible. That's big. If we haven't married our daughters off yet, we probably don't know. You gotta give your daughter away. It's big. It ain't no, we done got so in and out that it's just like, you know, real quick. You think you married real quick? No disrespect to nobody, but you know, it's bigger than real quick. You know. Any other questions? We'll stop there. The next chapter is Ishrat al-Nisa. Living in harmony with the women. It's definitely possible. Living in harmony with the women. It's nice. Inshallah. Inshallah. It's a chapter that's needed. It's a chapter that's needed. Inshallah. We'll stop there. We'll deal with that next week. Inshallah.